Hi, and welcome to the Crit Hit Wild podcast, where we cover all things Marvel Crisis Protocol, and we do a new character every week. This week, we're going to be talking about Echo, and I'm your host, Fred.
I'm Brad.
I'm Brandon.
Hey, I'm Tom.
Hey, Tom. Hey, everybody. How is everybody doing today? How are you doing today, Tom?
Oh, just Ducky.
I'm glad to hear that. How about you, Brad?
Feeling old.
Yeah, you and me both. How about you, Brandon? How are you doing? It's been a little while.
Me, I'm good. It hasn't been that long.
You're right. It hasn't been that long.
It was less time than it was last time.
That is a true statement. That is a true statement. Well, I am exhausted. I did not sleep well last night, and I just drove back from the tournament that I spent all day in Cleveland. So I am tripping all over my words, as you can probably tell. But that is something that we are going to talk about today. We are going to discuss our experience at the Recess Games Appalachian Cup tournament, and that'll likely be a good portion of this episode. And then we're going to talk about Echo. But before we do any of that, let's talk about upcoming events. So on the 15th of this month, there is a tournament at Lost Legion Games and Comics in South Charleston, West Virginia. That is our local game shop. This will likely be a very small affair, but who knows?
It's bigger than normal,
What?
Fred.
Bigger than normal. How many
Yeah.
do we have signed up?
We have 6 signed up, with one who said they were coming that didn't sign up yet, and another maybe. So we may have a perfect 8 3-rounder.
That is shocking.
Yep.
That sounds great. I would be happy if that happened. All right. Well, I'll see y'all on Saturday on that one. And then later, coming up on the 22nd of November, there is a tournament at Fabricators Forge in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This will be an affiliation tournament, which means that your entire roster will have to be affiliated with the affiliation you choose. So keep that in mind when you are planning to go to this event. I have done these in the past, and they are fun. They're interesting. It's nice to limit your choices so that you have to use all the models at one affiliation's disposal. I like that as an event. But that is what we know for upcoming events. I don't think that there's any others that are on the immediate radar. So let's talk about news. So right now, there is no new news out of AMG, but Mini Stravaganza is coming up, and we are expecting news. There's no way they don't have news at Mini Stravaganza. So hopefully, next time we talk, we're going to be talking about some big changes or some big stuff happening. Well, we'll see. We'll see. That's for the future. Anyway, I think that we should just get right into talking about this tournament. So the tournament that we attended is at Recess Games in North Olmsted, Ohio. That is about a 4-hour drive for those of us in Charleston, West Virginia. So we got rolling at 4:30 in the morning, and it was a long day from that point forward. But it was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it. And I think that we should just get right into talking about the games that we participated in. I will start with my first round opponent. So my first round, I was paired against Jeff. Jeff is a fantastic player. In fact, he is the person who won the BECC tournament in last year. So he was the overall winner of the BECC for our region last year. And he was playing Criminal Syndicate, at least against me. His list was kind of or his roster was sort of a mix between Web Warriors and Criminal Syndicate. And he was playing Kingpin into me. And the crises that we chose were Spider Infected and Superpowered Scoundrels. So I'm already in a really bad position. This is already looking very bad. We're playing at 20 threat, and my roster at 20 threat into this game was King T, M'Baku. It was 5 threat, Mighty Thor. That's 14. So it was Killmonger and Okoye. That was my roster. His roster was Kingpin. It was Prowler. He had Prowler, which was interesting. He had Black Cat, Spectacular Spider-Man, and Rhino, and I believe one more model that I think has to be. I cannot remember what the last model was, but
Maybe Spider-Ham?
it was Spider-Ham. That is who it was. I knew it was a 2 threat, but it wasn't Wong. So you're correct. It was Spider-Ham.
Good thing the option should have been Bullseye or Spider-Ham.
Right. Yeah, and I knew that he didn't have Wong in his roster, but I knew I had played Wong later on, so I was trying to rack my brain as to who the 2 was. It was Spider-Ham. This game went as you could probably expect. I'm playing Criminal Syndicate. I'm playing against Criminal Syndicate, and it's Superpowered Scoundrels. And I'm not playing a particularly killy. It is a killy list, but it's not killy enough to outkill Criminal Syndicate in this particular scenario. I do okay. And on round 3, I am ahead on attrition at this point. I have dazed every model except for Kingpin, and he is way ahead. And it comes down near the end of the round that I have to kill Black Cat because Black Cat is holding an objective. And if I fail to kill Black Cat, he will be at 16 victory points at the end of the round. And the only person who I have left who could possibly do it is Okoye. And Okoye had to move in order to get into range to do it. So Okoye moved up, did her spender, and if I roll a wild, I know it has Pierce, and I know that it lets me do the strike into Black Cat, so I would get another chance to roll dice, even if it doesn't kill her. So I roll my dice, and I blank out entirely. I do 0 damage to Black Cat, and that means that I lose the game this round. I was probably going to lose the game anyway. This was just going to keep me in the game another round, but you know, I'm trying to do what I can against a very difficult situation. Criminal Syndicate on Superpowered Scoundrels is tough. So I lost my game, but it was a great game. And Jeff is a super nice guy. I enjoyed this game a lot. So, but that is how my first round went. Brad, why don't you tell me about how your first round went?
Okay, I got to play in the private suite for the first round. The store, there were a bunch of tables out together, and then there was one table in a room by itself, and then 2 tables in a room together. And Les and I got the little room by ourselves, so we shut the door. It was nice and quiet. We played a relaxing game. I was playing Apocalypse, as I've played in all the qualifiers so far, and he was playing Midnight Suns. We drew Superpowered Scoundrels and Struggle for the Cube, so there were tons of points available. And he played Elsa, Man-Thing. Okay, I played it was 17 threat. I played Apocalypse, Gambit, Blob, Magic, Toad, and the reason I played those models is because I forgot, even though he was on my tray and his card was there, I forgot I had Beast, or I probably would have played Beast. Now, that might have been a mistake, but I would have done it if I had remembered, but I forgot. But this worked out fine. Beast has a little bit better Mystic defense than Blob. So that's what I would have done. He played... Who else did he play? He didn't play Immortal Hulk. He had a regular Hulk in his roster. He didn't play regular Hulk. So he was just playing a bunch of dudes too, which makes sense because we had so many points. And he said that after the game that's why he did that. I don't know. I'll remember people as the game rolls out. I was worried about Elsa's spender with Apocalypse, as I should be. He never once did the spender the whole game. My Apocalypse sat in the middle of the table and reached out to all the other points the entire game. His Elsa sat on one of his points and just shot all game until the very end. Toad grabbed the middle point and hung out. I can't remember if this is the game I played Dark Past turn 1. I think it might be, but I played.
I think that was game 3.
I may have. I think I did it more than once then, because I definitely played. I definitely in game 3 played it, but I also played it against either this list or the Guardians. I played round 2, one of those. But I might have done it this game, making Toad very hard to hit, or I might not have and learned from that mistake. But Toad survives round 1 and gets away. Blob's on the left. Who did he? Oh, he had Encantu over there as well. Encantu on turn 2 rolls up onto my point, and him and Blob and Gambit have a big brawl on that side of the table. And Encantu loses this brawl real bad because he's not really a brawler. The other side of the table, I only have Magic. And he has, I remember his last model now. He had Man-Thing and Yondu.
Mm-hmm.
And Yondu was a pain in the butt. But with Apocalypse there, he in the middle, he was contributing to that fight. So Magic did have a little bit of backup. We score over a couple rounds, end up me 11, him 10. And we go into what turns out to be the final turn of the game. We're at 11 and 10 points. So with that many points on the field, easily ends. He has priority, activates, I think, Encantu on the other side of the board. And dazes Gambit. And then I go with Magic, who had just flipped, and with War and her Dark Child Spender, one shot Man-Thing. He did have 2 cubes on him, so he already had 2 damage on him, because the turn had just started. But she does the rest of it, takes him out. I teleport 3, pick up his 2 cubes. Teleport 3, move. I'm on the edge of the board with 2 cubes. She is untouchable. Nobody can make a move and even make one attack into her. So she's real safe. And I'm looking around, and with her 2 cubes, I have enough points to win this game. All I have to do is hold on to points. So I play the whole rest of the game. Oh, he also had Black Panther chosen a best on the middle point with Apocalypse, who one-shot him and then attack someone else earlier. I do everything I can to keep points, so I'm trying to take away activations from him. I'm when Gambit went down, he dropped the cube, Mummy picked it up. So Blob tries to take the cube from him, pushes him off the point, stuff like that. And Apocalypse tries to take out Black Panther, doesn't, but puts slow on him. So he can't attack me and move over to a point to get the point. He just has to go over to the point. And so I do everything I can. And then he, in a last ditch effort to like keep me from scoring some points and not get too far ahead of him, because he wasn't counting how many points I had. That was important. He moves Elsa up onto my point with Blob and attacks Blob and does no damage, which is good for him because then he would have just been pushed off. And I just move my still healthy Toad onto the point. And I also daze and Cantu finally with Toad, who was my death. So I got to move and get 3 extra dice from the death ability, daze him, pick up another cube, and I end up with more points than I need to win. But right before I activate Toad, the last activation of the game, I was like, okay, just to make sure I'm not miscounting this, I have enough points to win, right? Like, this is enough. And he's like, I don't know. And he starts counting, and he goes, well, I only need one more point at that point because Elsa was contesting. And I was like, I only need one more point, right? And he's like, counts it up. He's like, yeah, it does seem that way. So he wasn't paying any attention to the fact that it was my game to lose that whole turn. And so I ended up with that extra point and one more on top of it because I dazed and Cantu. So it was a fun game. It was very close. It probably would have gone bad for me had it gone another turn. So I'm glad I wrapped it up then. Johnny Pastrami was recently, he won second win. He was recently on their podcast, Alfredo Size 3 Taco Truck. He was talking about how it feels like Apocalypse feels good, like through turn 4. And then after that, it feels real bad. And that has been my experience with it as well. And this game was over before turn 4. So I got the win when I needed it before things started going real bad. Yeah.
Is the reason for that just that around that time the attrition just really starts to tear apart that team?
Yeah, the attrition starts catching up. They are tough. They outlast the early turns pretty well, but it eventually catches up. Like, one of the things that happened that last turn is Yondu double moved onto my side point so that he could double tap Magic the next turn or run over and get them. Because she was actually going to die from the cubes. But run over and get them with Yondu the next turn. Like, he was setting up for a turn that I didn't think was going to happen. So,
okay,
it is key to win early.
Well, Brad, isn't that different than how you used to play? Since you used to play all the 4s, and now you're playing the 3s.
I
agree. I think playing 3s means you don't want to go to turn 5.
Even with the 4s. I didn't want to go to turn 5. This is the first time I've committed so heavily to the 3s, and I see why people like it. I am going to keep my roster open to doing either. So, like,
okay,
this game being wider was the right choice. There's a game later in this tournament where I don't know that I made the right choice. It's a very hard call because Colossus would have been great. But I would have had to turn another 3 into a 4, and I don't know that was better than what I had. And lose Toad. I would have lost Toad in that game. But that's for later.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm glad you had a good round against Les. Les is a hell of a good opponent, so you had a tough round 1. All right, Tom, why don't you tell us about your round 1?
Yeah, my round 1 is against Josh, who I have seen at several events but not played against until now. So it's good to face him on the table. He is a Brotherhood player, and we got Deadline and Scrolls. Um, he, looking at his list and having talked to him previously, I was pretty sure he was going to be playing Juggernaut Magneto. So he chose the high value of 20. So he went Juggernaut Magneto, Toad, Rogue, and Gambit. And because of how the shape of Deadline is, I recently made a change in my list where I took Bill out and put Rhino in specifically for like this kind of occurrence, because Rhino's speed on Deadline is just amazing. And I'll touch on that in a moment. But I went as wide as possible, so I went Gorgon, Karnak, Lockjaw, Okoye, Black Bolt, Rhino. So I had 6 activations to his 5. And one trick that I try to do against Brotherhood players is I look where their Toad is, and if I have Prio, which I did, I try to take the extract in front of Toad because it just makes them sad, and they get confused because they're like, "But that was my turn 1. What have you done to me?" But this game came down to, we kind of traded back and forth. We were pretty even going into the second round. I think it was 3-3 tie or something like that, because we were just contesting the same stuff. But he dedicated his Asteroid M turn at the top of 2 after Juggernaut's activation to bring Magneto in. And really, I feel like when you're playing against this list, it's all about trying to time when they're going to Asteroid and having a plan around it. And I didn't mind it happening then because it pulled him all the way to one flank, which I assumed he would go to since he had the only size 4 on the table. But at that point, it kind of opens up the whole rest of the board for me. So at that point, he dazes Gorgon because he's Magneto and that's what he does, and he punches with Juggernaut and all that stuff. But he's got so much of his threat confined to that area. I get to run the other half of the table, take out Rogue, start the point game going in my direction, and then the big thing was he then was on the back foot, so he had to push Juggernaut into my home into Lockjaw, which meant that Rhino from the opposite flank then could bounce off Juggernaut. This is a robbery Juggernaut to the side of the board, touch that one, and then end up pushing himself, bouncing off of Magneto on the far left point, and then the next turn, kill the Toad on his back point, and then run back to the other base. So, he's just an amazing model to do that with, and that's how I closed the game out.
Rhino just is... just the sheer amount of movement shenanigans that you can pull off and how he affects the board is so incredible.
It's amazing.
He's great.
And half of it's just making sure between him and Lockjaw, I tried to throw the stuff that he wanted to throw at me into him first.
Clever. It is so going into this matchup, you seemed pretty confident that he was going to play Magneto Juggernaut. I did his roster even have Mystique, or was it just Magneto Juggernaut?
I'm pretty sure it did. I in previous conversations, other events, I know that he's a big fan of Asteroid Emming and killing something.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna lie, this is actually the only time I've ever taken survival of my 10 in my actual 5, and I survivaled Gorgon top of 3 because it made a huge difference.
I can confirm that is lots of fun.
Asteroid ending some Magneto and killing someone.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for round 1, that is Tom and Brad with a 1-0 and Fred with an 0-1. This is going to be a regular occurrence, I think, in this tournament.
We also had. Are you going to talk about that?
I was going to say we had another person with us. We had Memphis with us, who we took from Charleston up to Cleveland, and Memphis in his round 1. Oh, do you know who he played? I don't have it open in front of me.
He played Rev Vash.
He played Dave.
Yeah, Dave. And Memphis won this game. And I believe that this is Memphis's first tournament win ever. So congratulations to Memphis on winning this game, on winning round 1. Well done, sir.
And with that win, he tied Fred's all-time record with 1 win.
Oh, gosh.
I
You're
kid.
I'm catching strays over here, man.
I just
Although
kidding.
you're not far off. Okay, well, let's move in. Oh, and Brandon, of course, was not there because he doesn't like to join us in doing fun things anymore.
I had to
Uh,
work.
yeah. Oh, and for those of you who are wondering, Steven couldn't make it onto this call because he is driving back to South Charleston.
Oh,
But
yeah,
Steven was there at the tournament. So
yeah.
uh,
And
I
he played someone, and there was no result, and maybe he'll talk about it next week.
maybe. All right. Well, let's go into round number 2. So my round 2 opponent was Les. So Les went from Brad to me. And in this game, Les is playing Midnight Suns, and I make a mistake in round 0 where I know that Midnight Suns is not a good matchup for Wakanda because Midnight Suns tend to outperform Wakanda in this kind of matchup, largely because they also have a everyone makes a cost 0 attack card, and they tend to just be pound for pound a little bit better than what I'm bringing.
I don't
Um,
know if I agree with that.
okay, how about uh, he plays them better than me? I don't know. I have trouble with Midnight Suns. I have trouble beating them. So my solution usually is to play Asgard. Like I will go into Asgard into this matchup where and this is a case where I definitely should have done that, and I didn't. So, what I ended up playing, we were playing at 18 threat. So I played King T. I played M'Baku and Killmonger. So that right there puts me at 13. And Shuri and Okoye. That's what I played. Les played Elsa Bloodstone. He played Yondu. He played Man Thing. And he played the Immortal Hulk. So Immortal Hulk's on the table. And I'm staring at this big green monster coming across the table at me. And that's not the thing that ended up killing me at the end of this game. In the way this round played out, Immortal Hulk came right at me, and I ended up countering him with M'Baku because M'Baku has a spender that can actually throw Immortal Hulk. And Hulk pretty much did not roll very well most of this game. I ended up throwing him into Yondu at one point with M'Baku, and M'Baku carried himself very well. I even end up successfully usurping the throne with Killmonger. So all of that sounds like it's going well for me, right? Well, Yondu and Elsa Bloodstone together are while all of what I just said is happening, they are killing everyone on my team. We were playing superpowered scoundrels, and so Yondu, I didn't realize this. Yondu ignores cover for his builder attack. It might be all of his attacks. I don't know off the top of my head, but that means he ignores the defensive buff that superpowered scoundrels gives me. And Yondu is very good. Yondu, this was why he playing Yondu in his roster, I think. Why Les has him in there for situations like this. And Yondu kicked my butt through most of this game. I did end up KOing Immortal Hulk, but other than that, I pretty solidly lose this game. This game ended 21-14. I think that it was like 12-15 the round before. So it was a case where he was just like 1 point from winning the round before, and then the next round he just killed everything and scored most of the field. So Oh well, that's how this goes. Les is a great opponent, and this is usually how my games against Les go. He crushes me pretty handily. Oh well. Brad, how did your round 2 go?
I played a guy named Andrew who's playing what are they called? Guardians. Guardians. That's what all I could think of was Star-Lord. We played 18 points. So I played all my threes this time. So Apocalypse, of course, Gambit, Beast, Blob, Magic. He plays a weird list. So start out fine. Star-Lord, Groot, Rocket. Solid. Amazing Spider-Man, Namor. 2 5s. 2 5 splashes. Now they're pretty good splashes, especially if you're playing a scenario-focused game. We get superpowered scoundrels and hammers, and my left flank is he's got Amazing Spider-Man who grabbed the hammer and then backed up to his superpowered scoundrel. I have Blob and who was over there with Blob? Someone. I'll come back to it. I've got Apocalypse straight down the middle. He's got Star-Lord straight down the middle. And on my right, I have Magic and Beast? No. Gambit and Beast over there. That means Magic was on the other side against Amazing Spider-Man. And he has Rocket and Groot. Apocalypse, second turn, ends up finishing off Groot because my Beast goes in, attacks Groot, teleports over to him, throws Rocket away from Groot, and then one-shots Rocket. So I've got a little bit of damage on Groot. Apocalypse finishes them off in a hit, teleports over to Amazing Spider-Man's place, and leaves Namor at 1. Heartbreaking. You hate to see it.
Yeah.
And Magic rotates to the middle, which is why I couldn't remember she was over there. She spends the rest of the game in the middle, mostly fighting Star-Lord. Amazing Spider-Man with a hammer dazes Apocalypse.
Oh my gosh. How did that happen?
Had help from Namor, but not actually because I don't think Namor did any damage and then ran away because he was at 1 health. He buildered and then spendered me. So that is is that 7 dice and then 9 dice?
I think it's 7 then 8, but yes. Yeah.
Well, if he swung in with a hammer.
With a hammer.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It'd be 8 and then 9. It would be 8 then 9.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it hurt. It hurt. Gambit backs up onto the point and just makes sure he's within 3 of Groot for when Groot wakes up. And then the following turn, I think Beast ends up attacking Rocket twice and doesn't take him out. And then between Rocket and Groot, Beast goes down. Gambit does damage to Groot, but Groot's, I think, on the table at the end of the game, so I don't kill him. And then Spider-Man now has 2 hammers, and I think gets to activate before Apocalypse, but Apocalypse tanks it this time. I use both of my recals to live, though. And then Apocalypse takes out Namor and Amazing Spider-Man, because I'm pretty sure this is the turn where I war into Amazing Spider-Man, who has at least one condition, and I end up with 12 successes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I only had like 6. No, I had 8. But 4 of them were crits or wilds. So it changed 4 other dice, and I got to 12. And he's like, even with rerolls, there's no way I could save that. And so I get to pick up the 2 hammers. And this might be the turn I win the game, because I had pretty good control of the game at that point. Rocket is still alive at the end of the game. I think Groot is. Star-Lord is. Namor's dead at the end of the game. Amazing Spider-Man's alive, but like I said, he may have been dazed. Magic's flipped. Apocalypse is flipped. Beast is either dazed or flipped. And Blob and Gambit are fine. Perfectly healthy. Pretty sure.
Okay.
Game ends 1911.
1911.
In my favor.
So you were up against someone who was splashing 2 5-threat models, Namor and Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I don't even know what else was in his roster. I saw Guardians, thought I knew what to expect, and did not get what I expected.
Yeah, that was. I would not expect to run into that.
He might be playing a web duel.
He is playing a web duel. He has Miles, regular Miles, Amazing Spider-Man, Black Cat, Spectacular, and Gwenom in his roster.
Okay. It's a flex affiliation.
Yeah.
All right. It makes a little more sense. Okay, well done, Brad. Well done. Let's move to round 2 for Tom. I almost skipped you, Tom. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Tom, what was your round 2?
Yeah, so I played into my semi-local. I say semi because he's been traveling for like 3 months. We have got no games in recently. Savage, who had that great run at NashCon earlier this year. And we played he plays a very interesting concept of webs that he's been doing for a while that's like, oops, all venoms. So I knew he likes to punch people a lot more than most people do as webs. So he actually brings Wedding Party, which we landed on because he got prio and picked his secures. So we had a Wedding Party spider-infected game. And again, knowing him, I knew he was going to try to like have some good damage dealers, but it's also webs, so they can have tons of control. So I went 4 wide with Hulk because I like Hulk Dog. And that kind of ended up being the right choice for the game, as there were a lot of positioning like requirements in this game, and like moving around and trying to really shift where points were on the table. So like my first turn, I ported Hulk up to the midline on a Wedding Party. I don't know what they're called. Secure. And by the time it was his turn as my last activation, he was looking at 2099 and just went, I don't want to deal with this. And he actually walked and jumped all the way to the other Wedding Party on the other side of the table, round 1, picking up a spider in the middle of the board. And so what it did was it caused this weird disparity in points where like he had a 5 threat that had to walk to the middle to contest a Wedding Party because there's no one else there. Whereas I had all of my models and the majority of the points on the board were on the other flank. So it kind of went from there. This is the one game this tournament I actually played Terra Genesis. And it ended up being a really big deal because it just put me over the edge because it was a really close game.
Okay.
That's about it.
That's it. That's so the way you described it, it's not as if you ended up with no targets at one point. Like he had moved everyone away from what you brought.
I moved everyone away. So I was the one.
Everyone.
Yeah, I ran away. I don't want to deal with 2099. I don't know how that model works.
I mean,
I haven't
probably
played
a
against
good
him yet.
idea.
So I just ran away. I never attacked him the entire game, 2099. He ended up having to then cross the board at one point because he was just kind of like, I need my 5 threat to do something because I was on the other side of the board with
I see. I see.
Hulk
I
and
misunderstood.
yeah. Sorry, I had Hulk and Bolt and Gorgon trying to kill his list while Lockjaw started teleporting back to my side. So he had to eventually come down and try to uh, take the points back on this side by rotating his other models. But we both got hit by a lot of spider infected moves over the course of the game, and it kind of like kept ruining thoughts we had as to where we're going to be in the beginning of our turns.
Yeah, spider infected, man. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
It's
I
also
will
frustrating that it happens on the positive die results.
agreed.
Like you roll a crit and it's bad.
I hate picking up a spider infected with Hulk, but I had to this game because we kind of both realized that like this was going to be a fast game, even though we didn't think it would be at first.
Interesting. Okay. Well, congratulations, Tom. Good job winning this game. And that puts the current standings as Brad is 2-0, Tom is 2-0, and I am 0-2. Okay.
And Memphis.
And Memphis is 1-1 at this point. I believe that Memphis loses this game.
He does.
And yeah. I don't know who he played. I don't know what the details of that game were, but
he played Jason on Defenders on Inhumans Deploy and Infinity Formula and lost 18-15.
Okay, well, there you go.
Close game.
It is a close game. Memphis is doing well. Memphis is doing very well. All right. Let's move on to round 3. So round 3, I get paired against Kyle. And Kyle is playing a Hydra list. And we draw superpowered scoundrels and Terrigen canisters. This is also my 3rd time playing superpowered scoundrels. I am absolutely done with this crisis. It is so frustrating.
Sounds like a perfect day for me.
I know. You would have loved it. Terrigen canisters. Let's talk about this crisis, man. This is the one where every time you pick up a extract, you have to roll your physical defense, and if it does not contain a crit or a wild, you gain the poison condition. It also means that you are effectively slow because your movement becomes a slow movement. I hated this. This is bad. At one point, I intentionally did not pick up a crisis, an extract with King T'Challa because I could not let myself be slow. That hurt me later on. I probably should have just picked it up, but oh well.
I think you made the right choice without knowing anything about the game.
King T slowed is a big problem.
Yeah,
He does
only
not want to
knowing
be
the
slowed.
final score, I don't know if that was the right decision.
Yeah. Listen, so he's playing Hydra. He is playing it's Baron Strucker. He has Baron Strucker, Baron Zemo. He has Weapon X, and then he has Abomination and Gladiator. My roster, we're playing at 20 threat. My roster is the same roster I played round 1. It was King T, M'Baku, Mighty Thor, Killmonger, and Okoye. This game immediately breaks into a big fight in the middle, and I was hoping to have a similar situation as I had against Les, where M'Baku goes in and throws Abomination around. That was my hope. That is not how this round played out. In round 2, I think I end up dazing Abomination with one really lucky roll. Like I think I did a grand total of 8 damage to him with one attack from Mighty Thor, and I was kind of blown away by how well I rolled. But in a way, this kind of hurt me later on in this game. Gladiator shows up. Gladiator uses this opportunity to. He has a card where he can charge in and make an attack if you daze someone on his side. So he used that to charge Gladiator in, and Gladiator almost one-shots Mighty Thor outside of his activation. And then Gladiator activates. He dazes M'Baku. He dazes Mighty Thor. He then is sitting on a bunch of confidence at that point. I go in with Killmonger, and Killmonger tries to take out Gladiator, fails. I did not usurp the throne because I figured this was not the time to do it, but that was it. I do successfully usurp the throne eventually this game, but when round 3 comes around, Abomination activates first. A lot of my people are poisoned because of all the damn Terrigen canisters they've been carrying around, and Abomination does an enormous amount of damage to my roster. Like this, Abomination with Terrigen canisters is actually a really solid combination. It is a really good way to play this. I end up KOing Abomination. I end up dazing Gladiator this round with Killmonger, but I've lost M'Baku and I've lost Mighty Thor. King T is playing around the sides and doing damage where he can, but not doing a whole lot. And then something happens. Baron Strucker, I end up making like 4 attacks into Baron Strucker and failing to kill him. I'll do like 3 or 4 damage to him, and then he will activate, use his spender, heal himself up back to full, and I can't deal with, like, he's a little 3-threat model with 5 health, and I can't finish him off. I was blown away by how survivable he was, and that's mostly because I was rolling like dog crap at this point in the game. But little Baron Strucker, man, he's got some survival on him that took me by surprise. Anyway, I end up losing this game. Kyle kept his eye on the ball. He kept getting. He was picking up extracts when he needed to. He was contesting the secures, and I just couldn't. I couldn't finish off Gladiator. Like I think Gladiator ended up being the MVP of this game. Gladiator did a ton of damage to me, and yeah, I lose this round. I lose round 3, so I am 0-3 at this point, and I am feeling pretty down on Wakanda and on myself. I mean, it's not Wakanda's fault; it's my fault. But oh well. Yeah, that's how that game goes. Well, Brad, and Tom, why don't the two of you talk about your round 3?
Yeah, we played each other. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah. I pretty much this was the second time I played Brad, and I pretty much brought almost the exact same list into him. So let me ask you, Brad, what did you expect to face since it was a intrusion spider infected at 17?
Well, you have a Hulk in your list. I did kind of expect a Hulk.
Indeed.
Yeah, and of course Black Bolt, and of course Lockjaw. Last time you played Gorgon, this time you played Karnak. Honestly, Gorgon felt better. Like, it felt like that was a better pick. This,
I mean, he probably would have been.
Yeah, this was last time was spread out. It was a D secure, and this one's up close. So that might have been why you made a different choice.
The benefit Karnak has over Gorgon is that he has the displace on his punch. So on intrusions, you can bounce between them and pop people off.
Yeah,
didn't end up mattering in our game, obviously.
Yeah.
So I mentioned when you brought it up previously, so you opened up with a dark past that covered most of your list.
Mm-hmm.
But there was one oddity I noticed in your deployment was you had Apocalypse kind of off to your right flank, my left flank, more than I thought you were going to. So knowing that I'm not going to get more than one attack into all your stealth characters round one. I just double walked Black Bolt into the middle of the board and picked up a Spider Infected round as my first activation.
Mm-hmm.
Again, in front of Toad.
Yes. Yeah. It was rude.
There's a big middle finger to Toad right there.
Pretty much. Lockjaw ported Hulk up so that he was touching one of the intrusions. And, he and Karnak kind of just played around in the back end, getting my home points. Karnak moving to the middle, Lockjaw just kind of dirtling. And then I'm just setting up for Hulk to try to displace some people as my last activation. And he accidentally Dazed Beast, which was not expected. Just rolled high and then threw him away. And obviously Brad's not going to waste his brace saving Beast round one.
Nope.
So then you popped APOC up, hit the intrusion, got over to Hulk and shot him in the face. That hurt.
Yeah.
But really,
I don't remember how much damage. It was not
8.
insignificant. 8. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, your APOC hits were brutal this game.
Yeah.
I mean, you did 8 on that one. You did 11 on the war attack that you pulled off on him. But really, I think this game came down to I went narrower again to kind of push my attrition advantage early, and Hulk just did a lot of work this game.
He did so much work.
That's a Hulk for you.
I mean, there was even a point where. Oh, go ahead.
Especially one as mobile as Inhumans allow a Hulk to become.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to talk about. So I think I fell back from your big APOC attack afterward because I just couldn't take a double tap. And the only reason that works is because I could then lockjaw Hulk back to the point, bounce him through, and still have the confidence that even if I failed the roll, I would have had my leap and a move to do the other stuff I needed to do. Because I think I dazed Apocalypse round 2? Yeah. With a combination of Bolt and Hulk.
Wow. That's impressive.
Then I think APOC was off table 3.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
And at that point, the game's pretty much wrapped up.
There was.
Well, I mean, Gambit gave a try, man.
Gambit sure did. Before Apocalypse was off, he went with Black Bolt and Whispered, and and did some work.
I forgot about that. I almost never whisper. And this one, KO'd Beast, dazed Gambit, and did like 1 or 2 damage to APOC.
Yeah.
Which he then healed because he has the stats effects, but.
Right. And I think I had to recal that. I think that was one of the recals. Maybe.
I think so.
But after Black Bolt had gone and Hulk had, I was like, well, I'm going to take a gamble to stay in this game. And I think you had patched up Hulk, so he was down to 3 damage on him. So I had to do 17 damage.
No, I didn't have any patch up.
I don't know. I had
a lot of damage on me.
Yeah, I had to do some amount of damage and fell, I think, 3 short in APOC's activation. And then APOC was off the table. And I think Magic dazed him next turn, Hulk.
Now I remember why. I recaled the one you did 8 hits on the first turn so I could fall back.
Oh,
that's why yeah. You made me burn like 2 cards that first round or something.
Yeah. All right, that's what it was. Yeah, so he only had 3 damage on him. I had to do 17. I got 14 of that in one activation, which is pretty good, but did not get me there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, good job, Tom. Way to win this game. Sorry, Brad, that you lost.
Yeah.
I'm in a tough position where I want to cheer on everyone.
This is the game where Colossus would have made a huge difference, but I don't know that playing Wolverine or Psylocke would have mattered, and I would have done Wolverine. I would have just at that point went the attrition route and probably played. Hold on. Oh no, I couldn't have played Wolverine if I want a war Colossus. I don't know what I would have done. I would have figured something out. I don't know that it would have been better. That's the point.
I will say there's some cute stuff you can do with APOC on intrusions, or just in general with Colossus and Wolverine, since you can have fastball kind of anywhere on the table at a random point in time.
That's true. I don't have fastball on my list. That might be a good reason to add it.
Yeah, because I mean, you don't even have to wait for the intrusion to work because you can just pop them with Celestial Tech.
Yeah. I like that.
Huh. Huh. All right.
And I mean,
well,
I don't think I brought Brace into you.
I don't think you did. Yeah. You had a survival you didn't get to play.
That's right. And a Terrigenesis I didn't get to play.
Yeah.
Everyone was dead.
all right. Well, that was our round 3. Memphis won his third round game.
I know who he played
Memphis,
this time.
Yeah, Memphis
Les.
played against Les, and Memphis won this game. That is a testament to how well Memphis is doing. Memphis is playing great today. So congratulations to him on this one. All right, and now we move into round 4. So my round 4 opponent was Steven, who's usually on this podcast. Steven was playing Spider Foes into my Wakanda, and we pull Struggle for the Cube and Intrusions, and we're playing on threat value 19. I was worried when Intrusions came up because I'm usually worried about Intrusions. I think largely it helped me. I think Wakanda can play into Intrusions pretty well. But I was worried this game because I was worried he'd be moving his pieces. He brought Carnage, and I was worried that Carnage would be a huge problem coming through the Intrusions, but that ended up not being the case. At 19 threat, I was playing King T. I played M'Baku. I played Okoye. I played Killmonger, and I played Shang-Chi. And Steven was playing Green Goblin. He played Carnage, and a bunch of threes. He played Mysterio. He played Kraven the Hunter. And he played 2 more threes, I think. And I can't remember what they were. But here's how this game went. M'Baku goes over to the side and ends up holding down my left side for the entire game. And essentially, no one goes over there to fight him. He's pretty much by himself the entire game. King T is floating between the middle point and the side points, fighting people. And Killmonger is trying to chase down Carnage in order to usurp the throne on him. Carnage and Mysterio are neat models, and I get why Steven brought them, but ultimately I feel like they were both more of a hindrance to him than a help because of how many energy attacks I have access to. Carnage, I never threw a physical attack into Carnage, not one. And Mysterio, most of my attacks, I was able to pay the 2 power to attack into his 1 defense. So this was a case where neither one of them really did a whole lot. This game was pretty close. I weathered a pretty rough turn, and he caught up and overtook me in victory points on the second to last round. But then the last round started up, and I was playing. I had Killmonger in range to go charge into Green Goblin. So my first activation was Killmonger. Killmonger charges into Green Goblin. He usurps the throne beforehand. He makes an attack. He does a bunch of damage, leaving Green Goblin at, I think, 1 hit point. And then I Wakanda Forever. My Wakanda Forever attack dazes Green Goblin, scores me the Usurp the Throne, and King T'Challa on Wakanda Forever dazes Carnage. And so those are his 2 biggest models dazed before they can activate this round. Then I still have an action with Killmonger. Killmonger does his spender into Doc Ock, 3-threat Doc Ock, which was one of the other 3 threats he had. And I daze Doc Ock and place myself on the other side of him, behind a big piece of terrain, the size 4 terrain piece, so that I can hold all the cubes that I've just picked up without being killed. At this point, he has, I think, 2 activations that he can even do this round. And the first one, he goes after M'Baku, and he fails to do any damage just because of die rolls. Like, he's not able to pull any damage. And then I daze whatever the other 3-threat model was on his side that I can't think of. And that is essentially the game. I scored every point on the board this round, and that won me this game. I felt kind of bad. Steven was having a bad day, I think, and also nothing went his way this game. This was a game where every time he really needed a die roll to come out in his favor, it didn't happen. I also think he went in hard against Shang-Chi, knowing how dangerous Shang-Chi is. But in a way, I feel like that hurt him, because Shang-Chi survived more than he should have, and just drew a lot of attention away from King T and from Killmonger, who won me this game, King T and Killmonger. So this game went well for me. It was my first win of the day, so I will take my wins where I get them. Okay, that's it for my round 4. That puts me at 1-3, so I didn't get completely shut out, but I almost did. This was not a good tournament for me, and I will likely be moving away from Wakanda in the future. I think that I am finished with the Wakandan experiment at the moment.
You told me you were retiring from Wakanda. You can't go back on that.
I did, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
So for all those listeners, we need to post in the comments what we think Fred should play, and I don't think it should be a control faction. I think he needs to try a pure attrition faction.
Wakanda is an attrition faction. That's what they do.
Yeah, it's not what Fred does good, though. We need a pure, no control, all fight.
I'll tell you what, Wakanda usually feels pretty good. It's just I don't do well. So I get I don't think it's Wakanda. I think it's me. But I think it's time for me to move on. I have not done well in any tournament this since I've been playing Wakanda. So I feel like I need to move on. But that is the end of my round 4. So, Brad, why don't you talk about who your round 4 opponent was?
I played Jeff, which, Fred, you played first round, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
And he's playing Kingpin, Web Warriors roster. We get Super Prepared Scoundrels and Hammers. I don't remember which was his and which was mine, but 18 threat, and I played Apocalypse in the 3s again. So that's Blob Beast, Gambit, Magic. He played weird. He played a weird list. So his affiliated models were Kingpin, Prowler, Black Cat, which is fine. And then he played Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Ham. This is not what I expected to see out of Kingpin. This is not my experience with Kingpin. And I've had a lot of experience with Kingpin, which was actually very important in this game. So, for example, Amazing Spider-Man went up, grabbed a hammer, a side hammer, and then long moved to the middle point behind a size 4 piece of terrain. Apocalypse, late in the turn, second to last activation on my side, he, because of where he was, I wasn't going to be able to famine place and double tap him because the terrain was in the way. So I just walked up, was off the middle point, and smacked him, just looking to do damage. And then seeing where I was before I didn't war it. I just wanted to see what was going to happen. I was willing to put him on the point, but okay if he wasn't. And I leave him alive at 1. But put Root on him and then hit him with Pestilence and daze him and take his hammer. And I'm perfectly fine with Apocalypse not being on the objective right now. Because it's so easy for Kingpin to just take it. And I rolled out differently than I normally would because of Kingpin, my experience with Kingpin. So I put 2 people on my left home secure, and he goes to activate Black Cat, who was on that side, and went, I hate that you put 2 models there. And I was like, I have played against Kingpin so many times. So he just double moves her to the other side on his side. And she spends the rest of the game over there. He, I think, ends up with nobody on Blob and Gambit's side, which is my left side, on his thing. I don't think anyone ends up there. No, he moves Kingpin over there. That's right. Kingpin's there. Kingpin ends up in the middle by the end of the game. And then on the other side, he had his Spider-Ham, and then Black Cat ends up over there to face against Magic and Beast. Magic went and grabbed the hammer. He threw a pie at her, did a couple damage. That was annoying.
You gotta love Spider-Ham. You gotta love that he's out there.
Second turn, I don't have enough power to teleport onto his point, so I just walk over to his point, smack Spider-Ham, daze him. He goes with Black Cat, manages to get 1 damage through so that he could steal my hammer. Rude. And then I don't think Beast did anything that turn. Kingpin ends up in the middle, and I may have one-shot Kingpin with Apocalypse. No, It was Prowler. It was Prowler moved over there, and I one-shot Prowler. That makes way more sense. And I don't remember if this turn or next turn, Gambit 2 shots flipped Amazing Spider-Man. Barely gets blows him up the first time, leaving him at 1 or 2, and barely does enough damage. Oh, it was 1. He rolled 2 blocks. I rolled 2 hits and a crit, and I changed a hit to a wild. And then he made me re-roll the wild with witty banter. It turned into a crit. I got 1 damage through. Killed him. Prowler ends up going in and dazing and then maybe KOing Gambit, which is annoying. Blob, I think, pushes him off the point. Apocalypse does end up dazing Kingpin in an activation. And then the next turn, my healthy Apocalypse beats his flipped Kingpin. Kingpin can't take out Apocalypse. By this point, Spider-Ham's dead, and Black Cat is over standing next to Beast on his point, stealing it from him. Rude. And so I end up attacking Black Cat, and with Beast, I deal 3 damage. I'm like, that's perfect because she already has Root. So I deal an automatic 1 damage to her, and then I throw her into a piece of terrain, and he braces. That was rude, Jeff. And
You do love it when your opponent braces to prevent the 1 damage of someone being thrown into something.
She had a hammer and was still healthy, so counted as double. It was really annoying. So this is the turn, like, I haven't even activated Apocalypse yet. It was last turn I had dazed Kingpin. So I was staggered. So I famine hop close enough to attack her. I get 3 hits. He gets 3 blocks. I'm mad about it. I look over. I still have Recalibration Matrix. So I play Recalibration Matrix and point out I can't reroll my dice, but you sure can. He rolls it. He gets 2 blocks. I deal 1 damage to him, daze him. She drops the hammer. I go over, pick it up with magic, move back to the point. The turn before, he had kept me from winning. I was at 15 to his 10. On this turn, I score 8 more points to his none, I think.
Oh, man.
And go up 23 to 10.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Hell of a swing.
Yeah. I knew what to do into Kingpin, which helped. But then, like, every time Apocalypse rolled dice, he took somebody out. So it went very well, dice-wise for me, which just, like, compounded the fact that I had a pretty good idea of what I needed to do to win that game.
Yeah. Yep. Well done, Brad. That puts you at 3-1. So you had a very good winning average for this tournament.
Speaking of superpowered scoundrels that you were complaining about earlier, I won. I won every game I played superpowered scoundrels and lost every game I didn't.
I was the exact opposite. I lost every game I played Superpowered Scoundrels and won the game I didn't. So.
I recently added Superpowered Scoundrels to my list, and it feels like that was the right call.
Yeah.
Tied for the number 1 secure played in the event.
Huh.
That's why we all played a bunch of it.
Yeah.
9 people
guessing
playing it.
Lots of webs, lots of crims.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9 people played Imcron and 9 people played Superpowered Scoundrels. Those were the most played crises.
All right. Well, Tom, why don't you say about your last round of this event? For everyone keeping track, Tom is 3-0 at this point. So
Fred just keeps leaving Tom for last when his is the only games that actually matter.
That's why they're last, Brandon.
Yeah, but if Fred says it like he's forgetting about it.
There is
Here's the thing, Brandon. So Tom is on this podcast, and we're also talking about a tournament that we played recently, and we all know how the tournament ended, but the listener doesn't. So I'm letting there be at least the briefest glimpse of a question mark as to how this event ended up and who ended up winning. Tom, why don't you explain your round 4?
There is
It-
real quick. There is a third undefeated.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Going
Yep.
into this round, they end up losing their game. So
Well, they're playing. I believe they were playing Savage as well.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, Savage, good player. So
Yep.
You know what? I gotta say this, Savage. I really like him. He's a real good guy, real nice guy, and he kept us from having to do a 5th round this tournament.
yeah,
100%.
2 thumbs up, Savage. 2 thumbs up.
That happened the last time I played an event with Savage. Like he was the pair. He was like the pair down and like prevented the extra round.
yep.
So kudos for him for always preventing that.
He's the true hero.
He's a
So
hero.
yeah, he's a hero. So I ended up playing against Chance, who is a very good Wakanda player. And I think he said this was going to be his 50th game with Wakanda, so he's got his badge and can think about something else. But that means he knows all the tricks of his list, and I'm reasonably sure what he was going to do. So we ended up at 17 on Struggle for the Cube and Extremis. I had Prio, but hated all of his extracts. And on Fs, or even anything with any of the back extracts, there is currently the ability for Ultimate Spider-Man to go with the Spirit play and Wong at 17 to do the same thing that I want to do with Quicksilver, which is steal one of yours and run away. So we both kind of knew walking into this that we're both going to try to be the cheesiest people as possible, and then round 2 we'll show up and we'll do whatever we want to do. So I go steal one of his as soon as I go first with a Voodoo on my right flank to just pick up something and stand on a point. He, uses the Wong Spirit Bomb, so all of his guys have 3 power now, which is terrifying on a King T'Challa round 1. But it also allows Miles to long move, web swing, and grab one of mine the next activation. But so on my side, I use all my power to give Quicksilver his ability to go steal one of his. So at this point of the game, like we just kind of reset. And then we're looking at each other going, who's going to take the middle spider? Because neither of us want to touch it.
Just so the listeners who aren't familiar with the strategy, how is it that you get the Quicksilver on their F and then safe grab it?
Sure. So Quicksilver Speedster is a 2-power long move as long as he's not holding anything, which means that you deploy Quicksilver centrally on your first activation. You give him a power. This time I gave it from Black Bolt. And then he will, on the second activation, so not for your priority, but for your second activation, he can then have 3 power at the start of the turn when you give him another one. Therefore, he can Speedster towards one of their points, walk, pick it up, and then walk back long.
Yep.
Similarly, that's what Miles can do as well with Web Swing and Spirit.
Right.
So
Okay, sorry for cutting you off. Keep going.
no worries. Like I said, we were both 100% sure we were going to cheese each other and then figure out what happens. But then we had this weird thing where it was like King T has 3 power and he hasn't gone yet, and I have a Black Bolt. And I don't want to double move Black Bolt to the center and get King T turn 1. And he doesn't want to expose King T early either because I have Prio. So I end up single moving Black Bolt up within 2 of Okoye, but off of my own back point to be within range 4 of his Okoye on another Extremis. And Bolt just screams and one-shots her. It's 6 die energy with a pierce into his 3 reroll 1. So decent odds, but a good spike for me early. And the story of this game is my team hates his Okoye because it'll come up again in round 2. And then he actually takes the middle cube with King T and then leaps over to the same secure that Okoye is on, giving us kind of that weird, like, he's got USM, Okoye, and King T'Challa against my Quicksilver and Gorgon on that point. But we're tied because Okoye has been knocked out. And then he's got a Wong kind of in the middle of the table because he had to use an activation to meditate to do Spirit, who's holding a cube, and M'Baku on his back point. I've got Voodoo by himself with a cube on my right flank. I've got Okoye on my back point, 1 up, just to give a bodyguard bubble. And Black Bolt himself is just kind of within 2 of Okoye. And what we're both trying to do this whole game up to this point is maintain a bodyguard bubble around our 5 threats because both of us can one shot or like in one round either one of our leaders. Well, not leaders because his King T, but he's playing M'Baku leadership. But like King T is the core of Wakanda. So that being said, top of the round, my goal for round 2 is to get a shock on King T. So I start with Gorgon and I just hoofquake, hitting both Okoye and King T. Starting with Okoye because why not? And I end up rolling 3 crits and having a 7-hit 4-die attack and take her off the board immediately. And this might have been the worst thing that could have happened in a way, because for the rest of the game, he's got like prio, and we have this weird dance going back and forth. But Gorgon manages to shock King T, and that's all I could have asked for. Over the course of the game, though, we are just rotating points a lot. M'Baku takes a shot from Black Bolt on his point and goes, I don't want to be here anymore. Heals himself, walks over into Voodoo, and then Voodoo kills him. At this point, Chance is like, he has to be so cagey with both King T and Spider-Man because he doesn't want to expose himself to losing either one of them. Both are holding cubes. Luckily, it's Extremis, so they're continually healing themselves, or Wong is there to heal them. But there's just so many opportunities that he can't aggressively take, and he has to bide his time. And it's very smart gameplay, because the one thing Wakanda can do, maybe better than anyone else in this, any other affiliation of the game, is if it's to the last like 4 or 5 points that you need to take on a turn, and you can save your cards to do so, you might just have the big swing turn right there at the end, because Wakanda Forever is so strong, and you've got such a strong base of models. So I think even though I had those big spikes early, he's playing the game correctly with the power he has, and really puts me on the back foot where I basically have to, on turn 4, get Okoye and Black Bolt, who's still healthy at this point, to bodyguard Voodoo, who had flipped because M'Baku had killed him, and I'm just waiting to go win the game with possession, which is what I do. He can't hit Voodoo because I have 2 overlapping bodyguards. He can't even throw anything because I don't have brace. And in the end, I have last activation, and I can double move my Voodoo to possess his King T'Challa and take the 2 cubes. And it's a 16-17 game. Like, it was a really tough fight.
Man. Well done. Good job. That is an extremely close game. 16-17 there at the very end. But you knew you had to keep Voodoo able to go out and give Brother Daniel. So, good job. Well done.
And that's the only possession he made all game. Like, it was literally assuming that, because Quicksilver had 2 cubes because he stole one from M'Baku. So King T'Challa went over, killed Quicksilver, and then that's where the points were. So it came down to maintaining, number 1, taking M'Baku off the board, the top of 4, as soon as I could after he killed Quicksilver, to make sure that I don't just randomly lose models, because M'Baku does that, and then just holding that bodyguard bubble as long as I can.
Well done. And that makes you the winner of this tournament. Good job, Tom.
Thank you.
And
okay.
Memphis lost his last game.
Yeah. But Memphis ended up going 2-2, which is a totally respectable tournament outcome. A lot better than 1-3, which is where I ended up. But hey, good job, Memphis. That's what I'll say. And good job, Brad, going 3-1.
I got 5th.
He got 5th, even doing as well as he did. That's because this was a Shark Tank.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's it for our tournament recap. It was a really fun event, and I look forward to the next Appalachian Cup, which is question mark. I'm not 100% sure where it is. But
definitely one going to be at the Spring Akron Brew Brawl. There
that may be the next
one before that.
Okay. Well, we'll see. And until then, we'll keep you up to date on when that will be, when we find out. All right, let's move directly into the person that we are here to cover today. That person being Echo, who I am in the process of pulling up. Echo, otherwise known as Maya Lopez. Her defensive stats are threes across the board. She has 5 health on both sides of her card. She is a threat value of 3. She is a size 2, and she is a long mover. She is also on a small base, and she is affiliated with the Criminal Syndicate and the Defenders. All right, Brad, why don't you do her attacks?
I sure can. I have no idea why she is not an Avenger. Physical, studied strike, range 2, 4 dice, cost 0, gain a power. If this character has already attacked the defender this turn, add 3 dice to this attack pool. Physical bullseye, range 4, 4 dice, cost 0, gain a power. The defender cannot modify its defense dice during this attack. Physical, I know your moves better than you. Range 2, 6 dice. This one costs 3. The defender does not add crit results to their defense roll to its total successes and cannot add additional dice to its defense from rolls from critical results. And after this attack is resolved, this character may advance medium.
Okay. Hey, Tom, why don't you do the next 2 superpowers?
You got it. Charge. We all know what charge does. Death Dancer. So this is a always active. I forget what they're called. Infinite. I don't know what that symbol means anymore. But Death Dancer. Innate. Death Dancer. While attacking during the modified dice step, this character may change one of its attack dice to a hit for each crit in the opposing defense roll. While defending during the modified dice step, this character may change one of its defense dice to a shield for every crit in the opposing attack roll.
Okay. And Brandon, why don't you finish out the card?
She has an innate superpower on the prowl. While this character is within 1 of a trained feature of size 2 or more, this character will gain the stealth superpower, and she has wall crawler.
Okay. And that is the character card for Echo. I believe that she is exactly the same on the back. Right. All right. Let's start talking about this character. Hey, Brad, what are your first thoughts just reading through what she has, what she brings to the table?
Well, charge is always good, especially with a long move. Baron Zemo gets played for a reason. It's interesting that they are doing this conditional stealth thing a little bit more that we saw maybe first on Nightcrawler.
Yes. I think that was the first one.
Yeah. And it's interesting. It's a good way to make sure that stealth isn't too broken, I guess. This character fits the comic here. I'll do what I'm good at. This character fits the comic version of this character very well. She has the same power as Taskmaster, and they are presenting that in a different way. I really, really appreciate that she is not just a copy of Taskmaster. The extra 3 dice on her gainer, her melee attack is similar to stuff he does, but then everything else is like way different. So she's copying their moves expressed differently on her card with the Death Dancer and her Spender being stuff dealing with crits, which is really cool. And mathematically, those are really good, especially together. Them not exploding and not counting crits, but then you getting dodges for their crits.
On her Spender.
Really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty solid. I think it's pretty solid. Okay. Um, Tom, what do you think about this character? What are your thoughts here on Echo?
So I'm pretty excited about this character. If I'd gotten all my painting done, I would have been bringing a criminals list with her. I think her play pattern looks really easy at first glance, but then you realize it's a really cool one. So one of the issues I think you'll find with a lot of models is if they have a range 4 gainer but are a medium move round 1, if they first move to a point to pick up on one of your back extracts or secures or whatever, they normally don't have the range to then ping someone so they have charge online round 2. Well, she does because she's got the long move, and that hits way better in terms of first turn distances on the secure shapes than the medium move does, which means she pretty much always has a charge turn 1 if you want it, or turn 2. And I think that's a really great place to be for a model that wants to hit you twice because her second attack is so good. Just neat.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Um,
I think that's definitely part of her play pat. Like the fact that she is so quick out the gate and can close the distance with you really fast.
Yeah, and I think both of her affiliations have an interesting interaction with the way she operates. So in Criminal Syndicate, I mean, you have a long move in Criminal Syndicate, so we all know how Kingpin works. That's fine. But with, say, a Daredevil, um, they were really cautious in designing this character that her studied strike wouldn't be a regular uh, just get as much power as you want on damage and making it a single because they were very scared that she would have too much power too quickly and then spend the rest of the game charging and just doing I know your moves better than you to instantly kill like everything on the table. Like her output is very strong if she starts a turn with 5 power because you can charge, I know your moves, and then do a studied strike for 7 dice. So in criminals, you have Shadowlands, who gives her the unlock for Skull Crit, which is huge when you have these kind of dice pools. And then even Modoc, I think, gives her some interesting play because her defense dice go into if she rolls a wild, she gets a block, or if you roll a crit, she gets another block. So it's got this weird super defensive tech under him specifically that having that plus access to her innates with cruelty or for what's the one where you gain 3 power they use for Mephisto?
Oh, I know what it is.
Yeah,
Cruel
having her
tutelage?
cruel tutelage, I believe. Yeah, so having those
I
two
think
cards in her repertoire is big because if you can give her that power, that's huge because then she's charging and doing I know your moves better than you, which is a disgustingly good attack for a 3 threat. And then into her regular attack again, which is then a 7 die.
yeah, that's really devastating. That's a
Yeah.
really good combo.
And then in the Defenders affiliation, so her ability to change crits is better the larger the pool of dice are, and she gets to play with OG Strange. And so all of a sudden, her defense of 5 dice versus everything gets all those modification options. It's a really cool way they've kind of made on one side a super killer, on the other side a super tank.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. I mean, you're absolutely right. That is I had not even considered that, but uh is that the person you would play her with if you were playing Defenders? You play her with Strange
I
and not
would,
with Daredevil?
I would. I think
Okay.
I understand where you want the rerolls, but her dice pulls and her initial attacks are not that great. Um, I think she's going to get more out of being able to bounce in, do the attacks, and then her spender also has an advance of medium, so she can get back into range of strange, even if she overextends herself to try to get that healing up. Because she is only a 5 health model, so she's not tanky per se. She has a unique ability to take attacks.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, you've certainly given me a lot of perspective on this character. That was I did not realize quite what she brought to the table with her affiliations, but yeah.
Well, she's also
She's
got
going to be
the
a problem. She's going to
well,
be a problem.
she's definitely going to be around the board fast and not where you want her to be as the opponent. And then they were just making sure that because all the attacks are physical, they're like, okay, but what if spiders also can't re-roll into you when you shoot them?
Oh wow. Yeah, you're right.
It's solid.
Okay, well, yeah, she's really good. Uh, I want to give Brandon a chance to talk. Brandon, what are your thoughts here on Echo?
Well, first, the tactics card you were talking about is the one you want. Did you want the one that gains power, or the one that adds dice?
Gains power. Which one's that?
That's no mercy.
Yeah,
There
that's
it
the one.
is. There it is.
You have to
Cool
daze the
Tuneless
enemy
is the one that
character.
gives three extra dice, and you get stagger if you roll a skull.
Got it.
Correct.
Yeah.
At the end of your activation, you gain stagger if you roll a skull for 1 power.
Yeah, I don't want
No
that one.
mercy. No mercy. If you daze a character, you can play it, and any allied character can play the card, and then they gain 3 power.
Yeah, and I think that's where like her ability to hunt people down is going to be big because people are playing wider nowadays and she's running long. So she's going to be able to get that power fast.
A big perk too with this model is she gives Syndicate a second 3-threat in affiliation that you want to take, which has always been my personal problem. Is there's never a second one that you actively are like excited to take. Um,
Wait,
I
you
I like
don't want to take Craven the Hunter?
no, I don't. No, because Craven only works for like 2 people that exist in the world, and they just happen to both be on this podcast normally. Um,
Hey,
I
Craven's solid
Craven,
in foes.
yeah, he has never done anything to me, and he's never done anything for me. I don't know what like there is to say about him. Like I have played against him a million times. It feels like, and I just feel like he stands there. And every time I try, because I do it all the time. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. Everyone talks him up. I'm gonna do it. I put him on the table, and he just walks up. He gets one shot by like a 4-die attack. I'm like, bad luck. And then he makes like a bunch of attacks on his next turn, and then does no damage. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then he gets like, then Bullseye throws a dagger at him, and he dies somehow. I don't.
Well,
It's
I
just
think I think you have a point in that. So I'm a big Mysterio fan, but I understand he doesn't work everywhere. Echo is a criminal that will just work as a 3-threat. You just throw her in there and you're okay with it. You don't have
yeah,
to
like
think. You don't have to think about her play pattern as much.
well, and you don't have to think about the scenario. Like it doesn't matter the scenario because she plays on it. I like that her attacks are gainers. I understand the theory of like it would have been scary for her to gain like a ton of power, but knowing she can like sit like on pay to flips especially, which are something that Syndicate doesn't like to play, having a character who can always gain 1 power to have the flip available is extremely crucial because a lot of characters in the affiliation that aren't like Bullseye don't have gainers and they have low dice attacks. So you're throwing like 4 dice, hoping you do a damage to gain a power, so you can do a pay to flip or something like, or pick some, not so much pick something up because you're doing that on turn 1 and then passing them around. Hopefully, I like the bullseye attack a lot. I like the whole defender can't modify dice. That helps because you're playing superpowered scoundrels in affiliation, and if you're playing against web warriors, it's just an obnoxious thing to have to deal with. And then if you're close enough, then you can studied strike.
But you just
'Cause if
charge him
you,
after because it's a gainer.
yeah, and that's the whole
Yeah.
thing. Like you can gain the power, and then you have it. You have 2 online, and you have the 4 dice. In 4 versus 3, with no rerolls or cover or anything, it allows you to hopefully get 1 or 2 damage through, and then the 7 dice should hopefully finish it off. And you're still gaining the power. You don't have to worry about not. So you can keep your charge up. Death Dancer, I'm not gonna lie, I read this card like 4 times and I thought that cost 1 power.
Oh,
I
Because
just
it's such a
assumed it
good
did.
effect. It's a
Yeah, I
great
just
effect.
assumed it did. Like there's no they've done this type of thing, like similar things where it's like change the dice, but you have to pay a power for it. So I just assumed that there was a power attached to it more than anything. I think that's going to be the thing that is scary for her because I think when I play her, she's going to be on one side and Black Cat's probably going to be on the other side, and that's an obnoxious thing for your opponent to have to deal with. And there's just a lot, especially
so
when you go ahead.
I'll say I can tell you what's even more annoying because I got to play her one game so far and I loved it. It was her and Loki too because you get
Yeah,
to ask your opponent every dice they have.
Yeah,
If you
someone in
have
our
if you
local
have
meta
crit, you're in
bought
trouble.
the only Loki 2 box, and some of us that actually want to play that model have not been able to because it's been out of stock, and they bought it and then they've never even built it. It's just sitting in their closet.
Oh,
For the
Yeah,
record, all the models in that box are built, and two of them are in my roster right now. And
eh,
also,
neither of them are
uh,
Loki 2.
you're correct. Neither of them are Loki too. Also, the store has another one of those boxes now. If you want to go buy it, they do. They've
Yeah,
got
I
it
know
back in stock.
I saw they just got it back like a couple weeks ago. I did see that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but I really
so
like. Yeah, but I've been making fun of you about it for like almost a year now. I don't want to stop. It feels too
that's
good.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah, just being a three threat, like, because like I said, the second best three threat like that was a criminal affiliated, like was like you were literally looking at like hoods and crossbone twos,
and
like
Mysterio.
Cravens,
Come on, man.
Mysterios, like
Mysterio's great.
Mysterio sucks, man.
Oh,
Like,
I
I'm
love
not,
Mysterio. Hard disagree.
and
Hard.
everyone has that's the difference. You either love him or you hate him. I've played him a million times. I've played against him a million times. I don't think he does enough to warrant it. I understand it, but not. I don't think I didn't. My second three was always just an unaffiliated three. Um, so I just went out and picked a different three. I usually would. My second three was always Lizard. Um, and playing with Kingpin Lizard is miles better than Mysterio. Um,
But what if Echo, Loki 2, and Mysterio get to have the stupidest combination ever?
they can do. They can. Well, like I said, I couldn't play Loki 2 because someone in our local meta stole
Uh,
him.
I think that idea is fantastic. You mean under the grand illusion, and
I
they roll
do.
they
Yeah.
roll crits. When they roll crits, you adjust your dice, and then you turn their crits into skulls, which then hurt them.
Yeah, you get a tournament. They count as a skull, and then you. Oh, what a
That's the
pity!
silliest thing you can have. It's fantastic.
I like Loki too a lot. I like him. I like him and Abomination a lot as the five threat
Well,
options.
I'll definitely say so. The list that I was working on really was pushing into the fact that criminals now have so much movement. So between Prowler, Black Cat, Echo, Loki 2, you have four long movers.
Yeah. Well,
It's great.
yeah, you can
You
do the
also have
thing.
the
Like
Beckham
you,
crew, who have their own movement shenanigans.
That's fair. I actually was using Silk because of the Protege card. Because again, another long mover and another steal.
Okay, I mean that'll do it.
Because at 17, you can play. No, this isn't Echo, but you could play Rhino, Silk, Black Cat, Bullseye, and Kingpin, and have three steals, two of which are on your opponent's points round one.
Ugh.
The
Ugh.
steal's not there, but they're standing there.
All right. That's disgusting. You stop that right now. Yeah, okay. So there is one tactics card that is associated with Echo that we should talk about before we give her a letter grade. That card is Parts of a Whole. It is an unaffiliated reactive tactics card. During the power phase, Echo and Daredevil may each spend one power to play this card. This round, Echo gains the following superpower: Radar Sense. It's the one where, when defending against physical or energy attacks, you add blanks in your defense roll to your total successes, and there is no range limit to that. If they're out at 5, you still get that benefit. Also, this round, Daredevil gains the following superpower: On the Prowl. While this character is within range 1 of a terrain feature of size 2 or more, this character gains the Stealth superpower. And I should clarify, this is normal Daredevil. This is Defender's Daredevil, not Shadowlands Daredevil. Okay, so what do you think about this card? Uh, I mean, Brad, what are your first thoughts on this card?
As if Echo wasn't tanky enough already. Um, Tom talked about earlier that this isn't. You don't really want to play Echo in Daredevil Defenders. So I don't know that this is going to get played very often. I, however, am going to play Echo in Daredevil Defenders because they dated. And I'm going to make a nice little fluffy defenders list and play them and have fun. And I probably will play this card in a nice, fun, casual game.
I mean, I gotta say this. How many times has it come up where you ask your opponent if Daredevil has stealth? Because it
All the
seems like he's the
time.
kind of character. Yeah, it seems like he's the kind of character that should have stealth. Well, now he does. If this card has been played and he's within range 2 or range 1 of a size 2 terrain feature. Like, I
Uh,
think that's pretty solid too.
I would like to say there is now a Defenders Daredevil list with a lot of extremely violent 3 threats that are now available with Echo, because you still have an affiliation like Man Thing, Man Thing, Moon Knight, Iron Fist. Oh, sorry, I'm having really bad heartburn. Black Panther, Chosen a Bast. You have a lot of very violent 3 threats, and you can play with Daredevil and go super wide. And if you're playing against a super wide team, you're going to win that fight every single time.
Okay. That is certainly on the table now with all of the new 3 threats that they've been getting.
Yeah,
What do
you
you
can
think about
definitely
this
like
card?
Daredevil's and his rerolls, especially with this card, because like playing this card on turn 2 allows you to give yourself give Daredevil stealth and give Echo a lot of survivability, and then you're forcing them to and like defenders especially, like you're forcing them to go after like Iron Fist or Luke Cage or Man Thing or Moon Knight if you're playing like a super wide list. You also have Punisher available to you, and Valkyrie, who can just delete models when they decide they want to.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Tom, what do you think about this card? What are your
I,
thoughts on this?
I think this is a terrible card.
Okay.
I think I would almost give this to my opponent and be like, you can have this as a 6 card if you're going to play Echo and Daredevil at the table, and I don't care. Uh, Radar Sense for Echo, while like yes, it's good, but her ability is already a defensive modification, and you only have defensive pools of like 3 unless you're running her with Doctor Strange and Daredevil, and that just seems weird. Like you're going to run out of dice to modify,
That's a good
and
point.
then does Daredevil need stealth? He's a long mover that's got martial artists, so he's usually in someone's face. Like I would rather this is like a tax on him. I don't want to spend a power on this because I want to save for my spender.
the best part is most people who play against regular Daredevil assume he has stealth already.
Right, because they were so used to playing Shadowlands because Daredevil before his buff wasn't played.
Yeah, every time I ever play regular Daredevil, people just assume they play like the entire game like he has stealth, and then they say something like at some point in the game like, "Well, I can't attack him because he's more than 3 away," and I'm like, I don't know why.
I literally brought this up earlier in the conversation that every
Yeah,
single time I play against Daredevil, I'm like, he should be stealth, right?
yeah.
He's not.
There are a lot of times I play him like at the beginning because I play Shadowlands so much that I forget he doesn't have stealth. Because to be fair, it doesn't make much sense he doesn't have stealth.
I think it makes sense in the fact that he would be broken as crap with stealth as well. He's
I
really good. He's a good model.
I don't know. I'd give him. I like I said, I'll give you this as a 6 card. That's fine. I think it's a tax on both of them.
All right. Well, so you're saying don't take this card. This card's bad.
I think it's just literally bad.
Okay. All right.
But it's
Uh,
fun.
I mean, there are team up cards that are fun, if not cool. Like I like the Gamora and Nova one, right? That's cool.
Yeah,
But
that's fun.
I feel like the issue is Echo's dice pools aren't big enough to both modify and care about blanks that often.
I see it as if they don't roll any crits to change your dice, you still get your blanks. It's like
Sure.
a backup. And then I'm gonna, like I said, I'm playing this casually.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna play non mutants in a tournament. So
I think there's something interesting that has occurred with the release of these last three boxes. How many boxes were there? Two boxes, three boxes.
3 boxes.
Is if you look at the 9 characters,
Yes.
is that how many there
Yeah,
were?
yeah.
9. Yes.
More than half of them are long movers. This is the most long movers we've ever had introduced into the game at one time.
Oh, you're right. You're
It's
right.
like
I didn't even realize that.
they basically said, "Hi, we realize that we are playing a crisis game right now, and we want you to be able to charge in and do stuff." It's interesting to me in the design space.
I kind of enjoy the lack of long movers. They want them. It's too far.
Well, the glory days are over for you, I guess.
Yeah. You're gonna have to adapt to the new reality.
You badmouth Crossbones and Mysterio, and you don't like long movers. I don't know, man. What distance do you want everyone to move?
Small. I want them to. I want them to move small on medium basis. That's all I want. I just don't want them to move. The small move small base is such a painful thing.
It is.
Okay, well, we need to give a letter grade to Echo. Like when I first read this model, I saw that there was a lot of like interesting dice interactions. I saw that she can do a 7 dice attack if she's attacked the same model the first time. She's mobile. She's got a charge, which is always great to see. Any sort of action compression like that. She has very little. I guess she has her dance as her defensive tech. That you get to change your dice if they roll crits. I feel like that's good. She's gonna die. She like even with that, she's pretty fragile. I like everything that's on the table here. I'm not blown away by it. I am going to give her a B plus. I think she's good. I think she doesn't quite crack the A's. Tom, tell me how I'm wrong.
Well, I think you're not wrong. I think the only thing to consider is for her affiliations, she's a big deal. Like criminals
Okay,
specifically,
okay.
she's a big deal to have a long moving 3 in criminals because she is very fragile, except when she's not, where your opponent's like, "Oh, I'd give her an A for annoying," um, because you're going to spike into her and it's not going to matter. But there's a lower dice pool. But like she's basically a criminal Zemo, just not quite as good as Zemo because Zemo's too good.
Right. Correct. Okay. So what is the letter grade that you're going to give to her?
I think B plus is the correct one. I mean, an A is exceptional. She's a good, solid model, but she's bringing so much to her affiliation. I think a B plus is a great model.
Okay. All right. Brad, what letter grade are you going to give to Echo here?
I'm glad Tom brought up Baron Zemo because that's kind of where I was going. She is not as good as Baron Zemo, maybe the best 3-point character in the game, but she's up there. Like the long move, especially the offensive tech. Like she's and a charge. She's great. I've played a lot of Kitty Pryde, who has a similar role on her spender with the crits, and it's devastating. And she doesn't even get to change extra dice for them rolling those crits. Like she's going to put models down. Um, I think pretty much an auto take in her affiliations. I think this is one of those rare new models that's actually splashable and may see play outside of her affiliations. I'm super excited for her. I think I'm just gonna go A, not minus, not
Okay.
plus, just A.
A for annoying your opponent. Okay, and Brandon, what are you going to give to Echo?
Unlike Tom, I'm not afraid to tell you that you're wrong.
I think that Tom knows that I'm wrong about a lot of stuff.
It's okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's between. I don't actually weirdly disagree with Brad. I don't know if the model will be splashed all that much, but I do think she'll be like an auto take in pretty much any of the leaderships that she's affiliated under. Um, I think she has plenty of play both under Daredevil and Doctor Strange and Defenders, and I think under any of the main criminal syndicate leaderships under MODOK, Kingpin, or Shadowland Daredevil, I think she can see a decent amount of play. So I think she's at an A minus. Threes are just really tough to splash in unless you have something really, really niche you do. Um, like Black Cat sees a lot of splash because she can just walk up and stagger someone the entire game.
To be clear, I did not say she would be splashed. I said she can be splashed. I think that this is
Uh,
a model
Yeah,
good enough that you could take her in other affiliations
I
and
think
not
there's
feel
definitely
bad
a
about it.
world where she's going to be really big in team events when somebody needs Zemo, and you're like, but I also want a Zemo, and
Oh
then you have to
yeah,
figure out who gets Echo.
yeah. Oh yeah,
Hmm.
because like yeah, in team events when you're fighting over Zemo and like Black Cat and like those you have three people, so someone has to get a third one, right? So I think she fits that mold really, really well.
Okay. All right. Well, that is our take on Echo. Hey, Brad, why don't you tell us about any comic books that Echo has been in?
she has been in some comic books. Um, First thing is Daredevil, the 1999 series, uh, 9 through 16. This is by David Mack and Joe Quesada. Actually, the storyline ends at 15, but she's also in 16, and then they change writers and she disappears. So I just include 16 for fun. And she was created to mirror Daredevil. So she, being deaf, navigates the world primarily by sight, where he goes by sound. And she's very good at pattern recognition and can learn just by seeing people do stuff. Um, she was raised by Kingpin after Kingpin killed her father, and he sent her to school because he thought she was mentally disabled. He sent her to school. She is able to play a masterpiece even though she can't hear it, and then goes to school for the gifted, whatever. In her first story, um, Fisk sends her to talk to um, Matt Murdock about him because Matt Murdock obviously thinks that Wilson Fisk is a bad person. And Maya is supposed to be proof that he is not a bad person. And they end up starting to date. And then while they're dating, at night, they are different people. And Kingpin has told her that Daredevil killed her parents, her dad, and she watches footage of Daredevil and Bullseye fighting and learns all about how Daredevil fights and then goes to try to take out Daredevil. He realizes who she is. She does not realize who he is. And comes down to, can Daredevil beat someone who knows exactly how he fights? And the answer is no. No, he can't.
No. Okay.
No.
This has happened a couple times
Yeah.
where Daredevil loses against the person he's fighting.
Yeah. Yeah. He loses a lot.
Huh.
But you can read the story for how all that resolves, because obviously Daredevil doesn't die. He's in comics, or maybe he did die
Right.
and then they brought him back, because that also happens in comics a lot.
It happens all the time, apparently.
Uh, 2023. I didn't write this down. Uh, there's a miniseries, 4-issue miniseries called Daredevil and Echo, and this is by Taboo and Phil Noto. So people might know Taboo as one of the guys in Black Eyed Peas.
Whoa,
Oh, I thought you
wait,
said
really?
Yeah,
I thought
Really?
you said Boo as in the child from
no,
that monster movie.
Taboo, Taboo
Oh.
of Black Eyed Peas, who is Native American, wrote this comic, and drawn by one of my favorite artists, Phil Noto. And a cosmic evil is being awoken below New York City, and Daredevil and Echo have to try to stop it and save everyone, but especially the children. Also, Ghost Rider shows up and helps.
Okay.
And then I got one more. Echo, Seeker of Truth. This is also by Taboo, and art by James Terry. And this comic is currently being released. As of this recording, only issue 1 is out. And when her cousin goes missing in Los Angeles, Echo goes to the City of Angels to find out what happened to her. But what she discovers is a series of disappearances centered around a mysterious wellness cult called Wisteria Meadows. As Echo dives deeper into the mystery, she'll discover a truth about herself she never imagined. But who is the faceless puppet master behind the cult, and what is their sinister plan?
I had no idea that the guy from the Black Eyed Peas was making so many comic books.
He only writes Echo miniseries, as far as I can tell.
Okay.
But that's still cool, and he's actually
That
native.
is cool.
He's actually native.
Yeah.
So he has an insight into it. Her creator's uncle was Cherokee, and he based a lot of her on stories he would tell, too. So, like, even from her inception, she's got that connection. But Marvel's trying to do a good job of trying to make stuff like that stronger.
Okay, well, that's good. Okay, well, I think the only thing that's left is for my non sequitur recommendation. I didn't do any research. I didn't find out who played Echo. I know that she's been in a TV show, but I have not.
Yeah,
I didn't do any research to find out who it was.
I think her first role was as Echo, but she's gone on to do other stuff.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to recommend that people do is watch the show Physical Asia on Netflix. I know that I've recommended that people watch Physical 100 before. It is a Korean language sports and just athletics competition. And what this show does, what Physical Asia does now, is it broadens it from being just Korea only to being the greater Asia area as a whole, plus Australia, which is not in Asia, but they're also participating in this show. And I absolutely love everything about this show. The show is fantastic. It is. I never thought I'd be into an athletics competition as much as I'm into this show, and the fact that I am should be a hint as to how good of a show it is. Like, that I'm watching an athletics competition, y'all should be watching it then, if it's that high quality that I'm into it. But yeah, everyone should watch Physical Asia. It's great. It's fantastic. And I think that'll do it for us today. I want to say a special thank you to Tom for joining us, and congratulations on winning his tournament. Thanks to Brad and Brandon for talking to us today about Echo, and thank you all out there for listening. I hopefully Steven will be back next week, and hopefully Brandon will be back next week. It'll be nice to have you back on. It's always nice to hear from you, Brandon. I don't get to do it all that often. And with that, goodbye, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful week.